gotta love it.
You gotta love it.
Yes, man. Come on. It's that Bluetooth handshake, you know? To all our viewers back at home, welcome to another brand new episode of
Lead Now.
Now, this amazing show is all about covering major significant options, or rather concepts around leadership. And of course, we've been covering the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by Dr. John C. Maxwell. And a big shout out to Dr. John C. Maxwell. I'm learning so much in this series.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's fantastic material.
Fantastic material with a fantastic leadership guru. But
You
jumping,
mustn't call me that. I'm a normal guy.
you're a leadership
I'm not
guru.
a guru. Thank you. I'm just a normal man.
But for me, that's victorious. All right, you're a person of victory, and it goes back to what we're going to be touching on today. But simple intros. I go by the name of Rendani Chibura, aka Rendi, your #1 MC.
And I go by the name of Anton Venter, a.k.a. Anton Venter.
Come on. And on today's episode, we're covering an exciting law, the law of victory.
Yebo.
Anton, let's jump straight into it. What is the law of victory all about?
It basically means that leaders find a way to win. Okay. We spoke about Winston Churchill in our last episode.
Yes.
And Winston Churchill is a classic example of a guy who knew how to win. You see, the Winston Churchill story, if you go read up on it, he was a journalist, a war correspondent, and then eventually became a politician. So in the 30s, he was the lone voice against the Nazis. You know, so all the English in government and circles, they were singing the praises of Hitler, who was doing such a good job of leading Germany. That's how before the war started.
Yes.
And Churchill said, be careful, be careful, be careful. But in any case, no one listened to him. So eventually England got embroiled in a war against Germany, the Second World War, and they were getting their butts kicked. Right. So about halfway through this war, they had elections for a new prime minister. Did you know that? So during the Second World War, the English ran elections while they were being bombed. And then Winston Churchill got voted in as prime minister. Right, very interesting. So then he delivered a speech. Well, he delivered a lot of speeches during that time, but one of his most famous speeches, he created a picture for the people where he said, we have to win because there's no alternative. It's either win or die. I'm going to read you that section.
I want to hear this, yeah.
It says, we have before us an ordeal of the most grievous kind. We have before us many, many long months of struggle and of suffering. You ask, what is our policy? And I can say to you, it is to wage war by sea, land, and air, with all our might and with all the strength that God can give us, to wage war against the monstrous tyranny, never surpassed in the dark, lamentable catalogue of human crime. Beautiful, eh?
Come on.
That is our policy.
Yeah.
You ask, what is our aim? I can answer in one word. It is victory. Victory at all costs. Victory in spite of all terror. Victory, however long and hard the road may be. For without victory, there is no survival.
Come on.
So he created this picture. You win or you die.
Yeah. There's no other option around it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that he was able to create that picture like that, that is what galvanized English people. And Churchill literally found ways. So he is the guy that decided to take on Mussolini, okay, in the Mediterranean. He is the guy that eventually convinced the Americans to come on board in the war because America tried to stay neutral. Did you know that? They didn't want to get involved. Yeah, they wanted to be neutral. And then it's only after Pearl Harbor that he was able to convince Roosevelt, America, come join us. And that is why eventually they were able to defeat the Nazis.
Wow.
Okay, so more than any other person, Winston Churchill was responsible for the victory over the Nazis. Right. And it was because he knew what it's going to take to win. And he created a very clear picture of that.
Now you mentioned earlier that the leader must define what win means. You know? And people have a perception of winning is first place.
Yes.
All right. So do you mean that sometimes you can actually win without winning?
Yes.
How does that work?
Yes, it's because you define what the win means to you. You know, for example, there are, let's say there's 200 kids in a grade.
Yes.
And we are all now writing exams. There's going to be one kid who's going to be the top achiever in the grade.
Yes.
Okay? But there's going to be other kids who achieve their goals. So now I'm getting 90% as an average. I've worked very hard, I get 90%. But I'm not the top achiever. right? Does that make me a loser?
Not at all.
No, because my goal was to get 90%.
Yes.
Now I got my goal. So
Yes.
that was making me win. See, people quite often think in terms of black and white when it comes to winning, and it's not true. It is pretty much you become a winner because of your attitude and your mental approach to things. You know, there's a story, Rudy. It was a guy called Rudy Rüttiger. There's a movie that went out, yes, I think it's about in the 90s that
Yeah.
they made this movie. He was an NFL player at college level, but he was too small to play NFL.
Okay.
So literally, he was a small guy, but he had this passion for NFL, and he wanted to play. Right, not an NFL player, sorry, an American football player, but he didn't
Yes.
play NFL.
College
So
football.
college football.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he got into Notre Dame College, which is one of the most, the largest football programs in America. And this guy's goal, what he strived for, is to play for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
He went through 4 years while he finished his college degree, where he was part of the roster where he didn't get onto the field, not once.
Wow.
Okay. And then in the last game, in his 4th year, the coach sent him on with 5 minutes left. Right. And that was victory.
Wow.
Because at last he achieved that objective. Okay.
That's a
And he was
beautiful
able
story.
to make 1 sack as well.
Yeah,
so he was
come on.
especially victorious. Right. But that's the thing, you know. So for us, when we talk about winning, winning is pretty much about what I define to be winning.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the important part.
I love how you broke it down and you use that example. I always say you'd never appreciate winter if you've never gone through summer.
Yes, exactly.
You know? And I also believe that when you lose, you will appreciate winning a bit more. And this takes me back to when you coached us rugby back in high school in matric. All right, I believe it was 2008.
Yes.
You know, so I remember when the season started, we played our first game and we lost.
We just lost that. We should never have lost that.
Yeah.
I'm still angry about it. But anyway, we lost that.
We lost that
Yeah.
game, and it was, you're right, and I can still remember it clearly. But you told us, this feeling that you're feeling now, don't ever forget it. You know, and somehow it impacted and shifted us. Our season transformed from there. I don't know if you remember that.
I
You
remember
recall
very
that?
clearly. No, that's the thing. You know, you need to understand losing for you to appreciate winning.
Yeah.
It's like everything in life, you know, everything is relative to each other. For example, if we didn't have evil on our planet, we wouldn't understand what good is.
Yes.
So if everything was just good, then good loses its impact.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
It's but because we understand evil and we see evil that we have an appreciation for good. And everything in life is like that. You know, you get your two poles
Yeah.
on the opposite sides,
Yeah.
like up and down. We wouldn't understand what up is if we didn't
no
have it down.
down.
That's the thing,
Yeah.
you know. And the same with if you listen to marriage vows, it says for richer, for poorer,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
For illness and health.
Yeah.
So it's there. Because there's illness, I appreciate health. And that is the same thing with winning. You know, so I need to understand losing for me to really appreciate winning.
Yeah.
Because it's when I know what it feels like to lose that I can become an efficient winner. In my grade 11 year, when I was at school, right, I was part of a first team. There were some brilliant players in that team, but something just didn't click. That whole season, we did not win one game.
Whoa.
We lost every single match that season, except for one. We drew one, and we lost the rest. But all those losses was within 4 points. We didn't get thumped once. You know, it was close every time, I tell you. And then the next year, when I was in grade 12, we started winning. I tell you, it made that feeling so great.
That was a fulfillment.
It's so lucky to win.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you know what it feels like to lose.
Yes.
Right, and that is the thing, you know, our recent Springboks, who won the 2019 World Cup. 2 years before that, they were a losing team.
Yeah.
They had a terrible record in terms of their victories and their defeats. And they didn't know how to win.
Yeah.
2 years later, they won the World Cup. And I'm telling you now, it's because of that hard road they had to walk losing that taught them lessons that helped them to become winners.
Yeah.
That's really important.
You gave an example of the Springboks. 2019 Rugby World Cup, opening game against New Zealand.
Yes,
We lose.
yes,
But that very same World Cup, we win.
yes.
And I think that first loss had a significant impact on the overall outcome.
Yeah.
You know, because they had to get into that realization. If we won in the beginning, I don't think we would have worked or mentally be
Yeah,
prepared.
maybe we wouldn't have had that hunger.
Yes.
But eventually, when we played England in that final, we were so hungry to win.
Yes.
And that's really a big thing that enabled us to do that.
Speaking of winning, all right, it's a concept.
Yeah.
It's a mindset. I believe it's a lifestyle as well, you know. But before one can actually be a winner, one needs to navigate how to achieve that. So how does one learn how to win?
There's a couple of steps. The first one is you need to create a culture and an identity. You know, so if you want to turn the fortunes of a team around, you have to create this culture that everyone buys into.
Yeah.
We have to create a winning culture and a winning mindset and a winning identity. So going out onto the field, I can't go out there thinking, who am I playing against? I play, and you try to prevent me from playing. You know, so it's a mindset. It's literally like, we are not playing against them, they're playing against us.
Yeah.
Understand?
Yeah.
That's a mindset. And that is a culture that I have to establish in a team. So I have to create this picture, and I need to get everyone to buy into it, and we start doing it together as a unit, as a team. And then secondly, you need a unity of purpose, a unity of vision. You know, so everyone must have that same picture. 1995 World Cup, we are playing for our country. 2007 World Cup, same thing. 2019 World Cup, same thing.
12 years,
The
12 years,
moment,
12 years.
the moment those guys created a bigger picture and they all came together and saw the vision
Yeah.
and they pulled in the same direction,
Yeah.
then success started happening. Okay, it's like with the Tower of Babel. So you read in the Bible about the Tower of Babel where these people were working together to build this tower, and then God says, the Bible says that God came in and looked at this and he says, here there are one people and they speak one language. From now, nothing they attempt will be impossible for them. And that's a concept. So the one people with one language means they got one unity,
Yes.
vision.
Yes.
You know, and if you don't have that, you struggle.
Yeah.
I mean, you experienced that at school.
Yes. Yes.
Right. Remember that year with the difference in culture that we had between the grade 12 group and the grade 11 group.
Yes. Yes.
And that initially was the
Created a
reason why we
breakdown.
lost in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because we had to bring those two cultures together and make them win.
100%. Cohesion.
Yes,
Cohesion.
that's it. Next up is everyone must know their job. So every person on the team must be clear on their roles and responsibilities. We mustn't be stepping on each other's toes.
Yes.
We must be working together to achieve this objective. So there must be clarity on roles and responsibilities. There must be clarity on exactly what we have to do. For example, when I coach guys, I will typically divide my team. You know, when you play a 1-3-3-1
Yes.
pattern, then you basically create 4 pots.
Yes.
You know, and then in those pots, you say to the guys, your responsibility is to look after your ball. So if your pot carries this ball, you must make sure we keep that ball.
Yeah.
So between the ball carrier and his supporting runners, they must win the ball back.
Cleaning as well.
Yes, so I know if I'm the carrier, this is my responsibility. If I'm the cleaner, this is my job. If I'm the sealer, this is my job. So we work hard. We work hard to do that. So everyone must know their job.
Yes.
And then also we need the diversity of skills. So different people are different. Everyone's got an X factor. And for teams to be strong, for teams to win, it's important that everybody bring their X factor to the table. They mustn't be scared to be themselves, to be the best version of themselves. Okay, but you bring your X factor. You don't bring your ego.
Yes.
Okay.
Extremely important.
Right. Then tell us about the 5 Ps because planning.
Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have to prepare properly. I have to plan properly.
Yeah.
That's essential for me to have victory. I need to know where I'm going. I need to know how to get there.
Yeah.
That's critical. And then the final thing is I need to develop the leaders in my team. So every person needs to become a leader where they are, right, for the team to be successful.
Yeah.
Right. So once again, going back to rugby, when I coach under 14s, I call the calls.
Yes.
My first team, they got to call the calls.
Yes.
You need leaders. You know, and you read about the great Springbok teams, they will tell you that different guys are leaders on the field. It's not just the
100%.
captain.
100%.
Right.
Yes.
Everyone needs to develop that leadership. And those are basically the 6 things that I will say how you become a winner.
Well, we're speaking rugby because I see we're about to wrap things up. Let's speak Graham Henry and
Yes.
All Blacks quickly.
Yes. So what he did with the All Blacks, okay, in the book Legacy, right? He had to change their culture. So in the early 2000s, the All Blacks were not such a great team.
Yeah.
They had a terrible culture, and they had to turn this culture around. Okay. So the best way that he did that was he focused on making every single person take ownership of their own lives. So they had to become the leaders of their own lives. And they had to become winners of their own lives. So he delegated responsibility and ownership to them, and he helped them to take leadership inside their own lives. Once you become the leader of your own life, you can start leading others. And they achieved victory. They changed the culture by getting that right, by getting everybody to come on board and to push hard towards the future.
Come on. I just want to remind our viewers back at home, you are tuning in to Lead Now, and it is the series where we're covering the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership by Dr. John C. Maxwell. Today's leadership law is the law of victory.
Yes.
Winning. And just to wrap things up, what message do you want to leave the viewer with when it comes to the law of victory?
I want to say to you, you are a winner.
Yeah.
Okay, you were born a winner. When God made you, he created a winner. So if you are not winning at the moment, you need to find out why not. And you need to fix that, because you are supposed to win, right? That is what you were destined for, and that is what you're going to achieve in your life. So be the winner. As a leader, lead your life, be successful.
Yeah. And to win, there's a process to follow. Master that process, and you will live that law of victory.
Yes.
This was an exciting one.
Yeah,
I feel like we won this episode. We're winners. Thank you so much for joining us. Once again, a big shout out to you, Dr. John C. Maxwell, for fantastic content. We work, we learn, and we grow every time.
Yes.
So a big shout out to you as well, Anton.
Thank you, and a big shout out to you, Randy.
Come on. Did you give me a shout out? Okay,
give you a
now
shout out.
let's not get the producers angry.
Bring your X factor, not your ego.
Come on! Until we do it again, thank you for joining us on this amazing show called Lead Now. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Yes, man.
We've hoped you've enjoyed this episode of Lead Now, proudly brought to you by the School of Leadership Africa. Please remember to follow us on our social media. You can find us on Facebook at the School of Leadership and also on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at SoulAfrica_ZA. Thanks for tuning in.